Hello students, welcome back to the computer science classes. Today we are going to learn the next concepts of functions. Let us see what are the components or the things that we are going to cover through this session. Mutable or immutable properties of data objects with respect to functions. Then how to pass arrays to functions. This topic we have already covered in our previous session, but I have thought we should have it again. So I have included this topic in this session again, and then some functions that we can use through different libraries. So please be attentive throughout the session so that our learning becomes very fruitful. Now, mutable and or immutable properties of data objects with respect to functions. Can you please tell me what is mutable or immutable property? Yes, mutable means anything, any value that can be changed in their place, right? And immutable, which cannot be changed. I guess all of you remember what are the different types that can be changed, like list, strings, which one is mutable, which one is immutable. I hope all of you remember. Now let us see how these objects are passed to functions. Now over here, pass by reference. You can see pass by reference. Now in this program, you can see that print id list 1. So first start from here. Okay, def update list 1, then colon, and then print 1. So just think of this def whole line is starting from here. Okay, then print id. I'm just removing these lines. Okay, print id list 1, and then in the next line list 1 equal to list 1 plus equal to 10. Now this is nothing but a function. The whole portion, this whole portion is a function. What has happened over here? From the main function, from here, n is equal to 50, 60. This is a list or a tuple. So this one is been called print id n. So id n is been called from here, right? So what are the outputs you are getting? These are the different outputs that you are getting it. So I request all of you to run this program and see what are the different outputs you are getting. Just see at the bottom of this program, I have written in the above function list 1, an object is being passed. So this object, that is list 1, is passed, and its contents are changing because it is mutable. That's why it is behaving like pass by reference. Getting it? So that's why we call it as pass by reference. But over here, if it is n, so if it is n, then it is not mutable, right? It is immutable. All of you know integers are not mutable, but lists are mutable. So it is immutable. So through this program, you can see, when we will run this program, you will see that the outputs are not changing. In our function, value of variable b is not being changed because it is mutable. That's why its property is what? Its property is behaving like pass by value. I hope this is clear to you all. If you have any doubt in this, you can always call me. I'll clear it out. Now, I was talking about this portion. This thing we have already done it. Like in this program also, we are passing list, right? So over here, so arrays, it is nothing but the list. So we are passing the list through the function. Here we have got the function called do something, right? We have got the function called do something, and then print element. So for this, just think that this portion is in the next line, and then we have got print. Okay. So when we are calling it through this dumps do something, in bracket we are calling a function. Just see through this calling function what value we have sent. We are sending one list, right? 1 2 3. So what output I am getting it? I am getting 1 2 3, as if I am traversing it. Do you remember the traversing of list? So please run this program and you will be understanding. So in this program, again you can understand that list is mutable data type. That's why it treats as pass by reference. So I hope all of you have understood what is the difference between pass by reference and pass by value. Got it? So if any object which is mutable, and if we are passing it as an argument, then we will call it as pass by reference. But if it is immutable, like integer and all, then it will be pass by value. Now let us see what are the different functions using libraries we can have. First, some mathematical functions. Like mathematical functions are available under math module. All of you should remember, okay? To use mathematical functions, under this module we have to import the module using import math. Do you remember that those import statement and from statement? Yes, if we use the import statement, then we will import the whole thing of that library. But if we use from statement, then we will call only that particular function of that module. Okay, like see, if I want to do some square root, I guess all of you know what is square root. So if I want to take out some square root, suppose in this example I want to take out square root of 4. So for that I cannot write like this, that square root of 4. What is the square root of 4? I cannot write like this, right? But what we can do, we can use math.sqrt. So before that, in the first line you have to write import math, and in the next line you have to write this line. Okay, these are the 3 lines you have to write like this. I hope this is clear to you all. SQRT in bracket 4, and then in the next line print. Okay. So when you will run this program, you will get the output as 2. Hope this is clear to you all. Now, can you remember this table? Yeah, we have done it in class 11. So functions available in Python math module. What are the different functions that we can have? Ceil_n. Ceil_n, it returns what? It returns the smallest integer greater than or equal to n. Like if I write math.ceil in bracket 4.2, it will return 5. Getting it? Then we have got factorial n. If I write factorial n, then for that I will be writing math.factorial n, and it will return the value as 4. Sorry, 24. Factorial 4, it's 24. So in the next floor. So floor n, it will give me, if I write floor 4.2, I will get the answer as output as 4. Okay. So like this, f mod x comma y. So why I am asking you to go through all these and you have to learn all these, because in class 12 questions comes that tell me from which module, or if you want to use ceil function, then which module you have to import? So for that time you have to remember that it is math module. So you have to remember all the functions that are available in this math module. Getting it? Then you have got exp, that is for exponent, then log2, that is for logarithm, then log10, that is for logarithm base 10. Okay, then power n comma y, it is just raised to power. So if I am writing math, dot pow 2 comma 3, then I'll get the answer as 8. Why? 2 to the power 3, I'll get answer 8. Then sqrt in bracket n, then I'll get so if I take the example as math dot sqrt in bracket 100, I'll get the answer as 10, right? So in the same way, cos n, sin n, suppose you want to do any program of maths. Okay, suppose you want to take out inverse trigonometry, you want to do some program of inverse trigonometry or some derivations. I'm speaking for the science students, and for economics also you can use, right? So for that time you have to use this cos, sin, tan. Okay, now after that pi to all of you know, that is pi, and its value is 3.14159. basically we use 3.14. so pi, it's constant, so you can use anytime if you want to use. Suppose you want to find out the area of circle. For that we need 2 pi r square, right? So what we will do, pi r square. So what we will do, area of, so for that what we will do, we will use this value as pi. Then e is mathematical constant. Again, if you want to use e for any program, you can use e, right? So for all these you need to import the mathematical functions, that and the module is math. Now let us see some string functions. This is again an important portion. All of we have done in class 11, but we cannot skip it. It is again there in class 12. So string functions, all of you remember. Let me just recapitulate it once again. So like suppose I am having an example, I am having an function called capitalize. So what is its function? Capitalize function converts the first character of string to do what? To uppercase. Capitalize, it is telling, right? So if I write the program, s is equal to, I'm writing a string, s, I love programming. So next line I'm writing r equal to s dot capitalize, and then I'm printing the r. So this line I have to write over here. Then what output I'll get? I'll get the output as I love programming. Getting it? So the first letter has become the capital. The I has become capital. Okay. Now let us see what all the different functions of strings we are having. So now for this, for string function we don't have to import any module. It is already present. So if any times comes for center function, what module you are going to import? So you write no module is required to be imported. You have to write this line. If you leave it a blank, then you'll get 0. So you have to write it particularly. Such questions you will get in your sample papers. I'll be sending it to you, and I'll send some worksheets also to understand what type of questions I'm telling. So capitalize converts the first character to uppercase, then case fold converts string into lowercase, then center returns a center string, then count, it will count the number of times a specified value occurs, then encode, it is encoding version of the string, then ends with, it returns true if the string ends with a specified value. Suppose I am saying Rupeshwari. So if I am asking, it is ending with I, so it ends with, in bracket, what the function is if I'm having this one, so you will get it. If I write I in bracket, then it will search. Okay, then find. In the same way, if we have got find, it searches the string for a specified value and returns the position of where it was found. Okay, then format. Format specifies values in a string, and then index searches the string for a specified value and return its position where it was found. Getting it? So all these are the functions. There are some more functions like is alnum, is alpha, is decimal. It is all checking whether it is alphanumeric, whether it is alphabetic, whether it is decimal, whether it is digits. Then is identifier, whether this string is identifier or not. Then is lower, whether it is lowercase or not. Is numeric, whether the string is numeric or not. Is printable, whether the strings are printable characters or not. Then is space, there is space or not. Then is title. Title means it is following the rules of a title. Now is upper, whether they are uppercase or not. Now join. Join, what is the use of join? Join the elements of an iterable to end of the, it is nothing but doing the joining of two different strings. Then I just, so L just, not I, it is L just, returns a left justified version of the string. Left justified, hope all of you know, it is doing nothing but aligning the string to the left side. Then lower, converting the string to lower. Then L strip, it is left trimming the version of the string. Okay, then partition, if it returns a tuple where the string is parted into 3 parts. Okay, you all should try all these functions of string. Then replace. What is the use of this replace? It returns a string where specified value is replaced with a specified value. Okay, then split. Split, all of you know what is it doing? It splits the string at the specified separator and returns a list. Okay, it is doing actually slicing. Then split lines. If it is split lines means it splits the string at the breaks and returns a list. Okay, then starts with, it will return if the string starts with a specified value. That before in the previous slide you have done ends with the same thing, it is starts with. Then swap case. Swap case is nothing but in just like you have got in Word, you have got what? Change case. So toggle. So there what is been done? The uppercase is converted to lowercase and the lowercase is converted to uppercase in the same way. Then title, it converts the first character and then translate, it returns a translated string. Then upper, I guess it is repeated in the previous slide only we have done it, converts a string into uppercase, and then Z fill fills the string with specified number of 0 values in the beginning. Okay, if I write Z fill and in bracket if I write 4 like this, this one, if I write Z fill in bracket 4, so 4 number of zeros will be at the beginning of this string. Got it? Hope today's session was enjoying and you have learnt a lot. With this, the whatever topics or the concepts were left over for functions are covered, and then please go through the previous sessions also. So with all the 3 sessions we have covered the chapter functions. Try repeat the videos again and again try to understand and try to solve the worksheets. Try to do as many as functions you can practice, so that you should have a mastery on functions. Thank you.